Today, we'll explore a portion of Dickinson Bayou and its smaller avenues just west of Highway 3, where we'll launch at the recently reopened boat ramp. Heavy rains left the launch and its surrounding parking lot a muddy mess, but under normal circumstances, it's a clean and simple launch, bordered by a wooden fishing pier and a couple of picnic tables. Winds were swift today, and a heat advisory was in effect, with the heat index reaching 114 degrees. So I made sure to pack ample hydration and my favorite Marpat Woodland Boonie hat. The immediate tract of this trek is relatively wide with subtle curves, along with flanking homes and a few apartment buildings as well. This can be said of the majority of Dickinson Bayou proper. Thankfully, the residences are spread out enough to offer the ambiance of a nature paddle while not being far removed from the surrounding suburban subdivisions. You'll likely notice quite quickly the plethora of vibrantly painted herons that are a trademark of this trek. For those interested in architecture, you'll find plenty to admire along the Dickinson Bayou waterfront. There are no cookie-cutter properties here. You'll see plenty of old-school Gulf Coast architecture, along with some more modern designs, and even a couple of properties that harken back to an antebellum aesthetic, complete with surrounding porches and Spanish moss arbors. You'll see everything from classic to contemporary and rustic to regal. At the very least, the many picturesque residences and award-worthy landscaping along the route might serve to persuade a reluctant spouse to join. Just over a half-mile in, we'll make our first northward detour onto Benson Bayou. An entire neighborhood has gone up on the port side since my last paddle here. If you keep a sharp eye, you'll notice an old stone structure nestled between some of the new dwellings. I'm not sure exactly what this structure's original purpose was. However, it appears to me that it was most likely a crypt. Regardless, it is an interesting piece of Dickinson's past. A short jog later, we'll pass under the FM 517 bridge. Immediately to starboard, you'll see the imposing French Quarter-inspired structure of Marais. This is a popular upscale dining spot for those who've not had the pleasure of doing business with the management. Longtime locals will also fondly remember the real estate on which Marais now resides as the previous site of Garcia's Mexican restaurant, which was a local landmark for many years. As you continue along this winding branch, you'll enjoy much narrower passages with an even mix of nature-laden stretches and quaint offset residences. You'll then pass beneath the Cherry Drive Bridge. I'd hoped to make it to the terminus of this tributary, but high water levels left me unable to pass beneath a standpipe just prior to the intersection with Dietz Road, which I've been able to navigate on previous trips. With that, we'll turn back and retrace our paddle strokes to Dickinson Bayou. Along this return stretch, I encountered some children, under the watchful eye of a parent, playing in the bayou. One of them promptly told me to be careful not to come out of my kayak, as it might be hard for a man of my substantial stature to get back in. Out of the mouths of babes, as the saying goes. It was just nice to see kids not glued to screens and enjoying nature. Once back on Dickinson Bayou proper, we'll bear west once again. There you'll see 3 crosses of a ministry retreat standing on the port bank. We'll keep to the course, passing yet more beautiful residences and trademark heron art installations. We'll then come to another convergence where we'll once again bear right. This stretch is unnamed on the maps I consulted, but some call it Hopkins Bayou due to the nearby park of the same name. This intersection will be easy to identify by the 3-tier canopy of the park jutting out over the water. Soon afterward, you'll pass beneath the park's rustic footbridge. While there is no official launch site here, it's a nice place to stop for a break or picnic if you can negotiate the bank. Soon after, we'll once again pass beneath FM 517 onto a stretch that bears many of the same characteristics as the branch we explored previously. Thankfully, I was able to make it considerably farther on this one, even though a downed tree once again prevented further passage. I could hear the road noise of Interstate 45 not too far away from this point, so we made it most of the way. Though this section had quite a few obstacles, it also boasted several more primitive stretches and overhanging arbors. It was on this stretch that I encountered some of the slim pickings for wildlife the trip had to offer, in the form of a few ducks and what I believe to be a non-native swan goose, though feel free to correct me if need be. There were also a couple of plain-bellied water snakes hustling across one of the residential waterways. I'll go ahead and address the alligator inquiries that accompany the comment section of most videos. Yes, they're here. However, this is the least likely portion of the area where you'll encounter them, in my experience. In my years of paddling Greater Dickinson Bayou, I've only seen one, an approximate 4-footer, down toward the bayou's eastern leg approaching Galveston Bay. I can't guarantee a gator-free endeavor, but this route is among the top candidates if you're hoping to avoid an encounter. With that, we'll make our way back under FM 517, past Paul Hopkins Park, and bear left back onto Dickinson Bayou. But we still had one more avenue to explore on the way back. Between the inlets of Hopkins and Benson Bayous lies an unassuming canal that boasts towering tree lines to port and more modest residences and boat slips to starboard. This stretch is somewhat short but peaceful. The canal concludes at a trickling drainage pipe. With that, we'll finally begin our trek back to the launch, concluding a nearly 8-mile paddle. My final impressions of this route are as follows. It's a pleasant route for those who wish to enjoy some degree of natural ambiance without making a trip into the backcountry. You're rarely beyond sight of civilization. My preferences have always leaned toward the more primitive places, but to each their own. Again, I can certainly see some paddlers preferring the more manicured, subdivision-lined sections. It offers nice versatility for a local paddle. All 3 avenues, plus the canal explored in this video, are fairly centralized, allowing paddlers to tailor the distance of their trip without venturing absurdly far from the launch. Additionally, Paul Hopkins Park offers a nice destination. I've known several families who enjoyed taking their kids by canoe from the Dickinson launch to the park for a picnic and back. This route is nicely packaged for just such a family outing. The downside to this route is the potential for powered craft. Other than for experienced paddlers, I wouldn't recommend weekends or holidays. Aside from the usual fishing boats, this is a popular avenue for ski boats and wakeboarding, which can present hazards for the uninitiated from time to time. As always, know your conditions. The heat was brutal today and required some extra consideration. Winds here can be rough on the main bayou. However, the more sheltered avenues of Benson and Hopkins Bayous offer a good measure of relief. Just a note, if you're heading east down the opposite stretch of Dickinson Bayou toward the bay, the winds are nothing to play around with, even for seasoned paddlers. With a bit of pre-paddle consideration, this one is definitely worth trekking. Give it a shot. Paddle safe, and God bless.